welcome back to Eileen Chevalier's Typewriter Alphabet Flashcards Botany series. Today we are going to look at germination. All Angiospermae can grow from the seeds that their flowers create. In this lesson we'll use some different seeds to examine how the germination process works. So first off, let's gather our materials. You're going to need your Typewriter Alphabet Flashcards, this amazing book called Grow Your Soil, very important for germination. A seed is Sleepy, the Smithsonian Natural History book, and the Smithsonian Flora book. Both of those are DK. All right, so before we look at the books, we're going to define a couple words. So pull out your journal and I will read out these definitions for you. Embryo, germ, organism in the stage of life after fertilization and into germination. Bonus, this stage begins when a zygote divides into two cells and continues until it forms cotyledons or seed leaves, a hypocotyl, the primary stem, and radicle, the primary root. Germination, the process of a seed embryo developing into a seedling. All right, so now we are going to do a little questioning and investigating. A lot of today's lesson is actually hands-on. So you're going to want to actually germinate some seeds for yourself. So if it seems a little bit overwhelming, an easy way to do this is just to buy seeds for sprouting. So you can just sprout seeds in your house. You just get like a ball jar and a mesh cover on it. Like you can buy pretty cheap little metal mesh covers. And that makes it really easy. So you just want to soak your seeds first. I think it's about 6 hours, depending on the type of seeds. And then you dump out the water and just rinse them 2 or 3 times a day until they start to sprout. And you can see the seed coats come off and the roots come out. It's really neat. So if you get bean seeds, and you can order these and probably find them at probably not every store, maybe some health food stores, seeds specifically for sprouting. The bean seeds are kind of large, and so they're much easier to see all of the parts of them. Or you can use an ocular or a loop and use that to see what's going on in the seeds. It's so fascinating, and that way they're not in dirt, you can actually just see them. But planting them in dirt is also fun. Embryos are just one part of the seed. All seeds are protected by a seed coat, the testa, and some seeds like corn also contain an endosperm. Endo means within, and the sperm just means seed, that provide nutrition for the embryo. So the endosperm is really just like, it's like the parent plant was like, oh, I know my baby seedling is gonna be hungry, so I packed a little snack. So this is the food for the germinating seed. It can also be, not just for the plant, but for us, delicious. This is why corn is juicy. Cut open fresh corn kernels and find the endosperm. Try using an eye loop to see the details. So I'm going to show you a picture in Flora, just to kind of give you an idea. Not all seeds have the endosperm. It only happens in some seeds. Bean seeds, there's no endosperm. So here's this picture on page 286 of Flora. It's right down here in the corner that shows you where the endosperm is. So it's really large. And see if you can corn's pretty large. So hopefully that'll be the easiest one for you to cut open and see that. And then of course, it'd be great if you drew a picture in your journal. This is the second question to investigate. Germinating seeds need specific temperature, light, and soil texture. Some even need fire to get started. How do these adaptations help or hinder the plant's ability to survive? So it seems like if it needs fire, that would not help it to survive because the chances that it's going to have fire, and are there going to be viable seeds, and then there's this fire, and how does that all work? Like, is that a good adaptation? Is that a good way for the plant to procreate, that it requires fire? Maybe. Can humans use these adaptations in the production or storage of seeds? So some seeds actually need to be cold before they can grow well. So they need to have a period of time when the seeds themselves are very cold, and then that kind of, when they start to warm up, it tells them that it's time to grow. So how could we use that? And you could research the seed banks that we have that are preserving seeds for generations. How can we use that to ensure that we keep seeds for the future? Like, if you can't plant all the seeds that you bought this year and you wanted to save them for next year, how could you store them in such a way that they are not going to start sprouting and then not be able to be used next year? If some seeds actually need to get nicked or like cut a little bit in order to grow well, in order to germinate well. So how can you use that to either make sure that they're getting germinated or keep them from germinating before you want them to? Those are all really interesting things for you to think about. If you read in this Smithsonian Flora book, has a whole section on seeds, which is really amazing. So you can look in there and get some more ideas about all the different types of seeds that there are. In journaling, there are two activities. The first is to read Grow Your Soil. It's kind of a long read. It's not like you're just going to pick it up and read it in a few minutes, but it's amazing. It's super funny and wonderful. I think everyone should read it. And she's fantastic. So you can sort of go through it just piecemeal, like you can look at specific topics, or you can just read it through. I read it through. So once you've read that, or some highlights, you should experiment. Compost your kitchen scraps and use the finished products in your seedling starting mix. Try others too, store-bought, regular dirt, etc. So if you have a few different types of soil, then you can do a real experiment. So you're like, this is just the store-bought seed starting mix. This is a homemade mix. This is the one with your own compost that you made. So this is just dirt I dug up outside. So you can try some different things and see which is the best for the seeds that you have. And it could be that different seeds prefer different types of soil to get started in. So just because it doesn't start one type of seed doesn't mean it wouldn't start others. So definitely try a few different types of seeds. Not similar seeds, but very different seeds. Record your observations every day. Which works best, and why do you think that soil is working better than another soil? Make sure, if you're ever doing an experiment, you want to have lots of constants, right? So have a constant amount of light and a constant amount of water for everything, consistent throughout all of the trays. So the only thing you would want to alter there is the soil type. You could also change it so that you have the same soil type and you change the light, or you have the same soil type and the same light, but you change how much water they get. So you could try it out a bunch of different ways. So come up with an experiment that you're excited about, and then just go through the process and document it in your journal. The second activity is to read A Seed is Sleepy and learn more about seeds. Copy the germination illustration in Flora on page 286, or A Seed is Sleepy, A Seed is Generous, and label. So A Seed is Sleepy is really cool. It doesn't have page numbers, which is why I just said A Seed is Generous. So it talks a bunch about seeds, and then this is the A Seed is Generous page. So you've got this nice large illustration, and it's a little bit simplified, so I made a note in the lesson guide. I have something for you to watch out for. So that's a pretty simple one. And then what's really fun also is this one, A Seed is Thirsty and Hungry, kind of shows the development of seeds. And so that one's a little more simple, but it's really fun. The illustrations are great. And then again, that picture that I just showed you in the Flora, that's a little bit more detailed. There are 2 different ones as well. So you could do both of those if you have that book. I would love to see what happens with your germination. So if you could tag me or send me pictures or post pictures on our Facebook page, I would love to see them. And best of luck to you in your seed germination. This is a really great time. It's kind of at the beginning of the curriculum, so that you can watch those things happen and hopefully use the plants that you have later on as you learn more about flowers and seeds. That's all towards the end. So start your planting now, and then hopefully you'll have some of your own plants to look at the end. Another really fun germination thing is to do the avocados. So we did that with the magnolia dye. So if you want to watch the magnolia dye video and look at the avocado germination, that's a really fun activity as well. All right, see you guys next time. Bye.